joining us today in Wayne and Ann Vickery's lovely apartment here at Fairhaven. I am Ardell Fleeson. My title is Lifestyle Specialist for Independent and Assisted Living, and it's my great honor and treat to interview Wayne and Ann about their life here at Fairhaven in independent living. So Fairhaven was all a Twitter in December of last year because of Wayne and Ann's wedding. It was a big deal. There was a huge engagement party with 250 people. The whole community came together to do food and kindnesses. It was just delightful. And the wedding was in our chapel here. And I was gone that weekend, or I would have been there with bells on. So this is an exciting story about Fairhaven residents and the love that's here everywhere. I have some questions for them. My first question is, how did you come to be at Fairhaven? What was your journey here? Tell us the whole story for both of you.
Well, I'll start. I came to Fairhaven in 2011. I came to rehab here. I wanted somewhere that was close to my family. My brother and sister-in-law live in the cottages here. And as I said, I came to recover from a knee surgery. And so Fairhaven became my home in 2011.
My wife had some health problems, but it all came to a head in February of 2013 when she had knee surgery and had some problems coming out of the anesthesia. We thought she had a stroke, and they did an MRI and discovered that she had Parkinson's. Oh. By that summer, the diagnosis had been narrowed down to a very rare neurological disease called progressive supranuclear palsy. And the life expectancy is 5 years from the time of diagnosis. Toward the end of 2013, it became evident that she was not going to be able to be left at home by herself. I was concerned if something happened to me, even just, going to the hospital for 2 days, that she would not have anybody to care for her. So I started exploring, and I didn't just jump at Fairhaven, although I'm a retired United Methodist, so I've known about Fairhaven since the day they broke ground. But I checked every continuous care facility in Birmingham, and part of it is economic. All of the other facilities required anywhere from a substantial to me, a huge amount to move as a resident, move in. So we picked Fairhaven, moved into a 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. And my goal was to be able to keep her in the apartment until she died. And with the cooperation of everybody here, plus a very gracious sitter, we were able to do that, and she died March the 28th of 2018. The last 28 years of my ministry was as a hospital chaplain, in which I ran a training program for ministers. So I had read a lot, I had talked a lot about grief, but when it hits, it's a whole different ball game. It's one thing to think about it, it's another thing to live through it. I thought about moving to a 1-bedroom apartment. Then I said, no, I don't need to do that, but I know I'm not going to leave Fairhaven. I know myself well enough to know I just go sit in a 1-bedroom apartment somewhere and not get out and meet people. And I already had friendships and relationships built here at Fairhaven. And one of those relationships was Ann. We met very early on my time here. We moved in April of 2014, and we worked together on the resident council.
It came up that administration had asked me to be the secretary on the resident council. And I said, well, I need to think about that. And I got back to Ernestine and I said, the only way I'll do it is if you make Wayne Vickery the president. So I got to choose the president of the rest of the council.
That's great. That's great. So how long were you president, Wayne?
What was it, about 3 years?
3 years, yeah. It was September the 20th, 2019, Wayne asked me to marry him. And I was just floored. It was so funny because he came up, knocked on the door, and came in. I was putting my puzzle together, and he got down on one knee. So I was most surprised.
Was this entirely unexpected?
Yes.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how lovely.
I knew that we had a really close relationship as far as being really good friends. There was the trust there. And we talked about a lot of things. I had had experience with Parkinson's. My mother had Parkinson's.
Yeah. She was very helpful to me during the grief process. I knew with her background that she had experience, and she was able to listen to my grief and be very supportive. We realized one day that I was watching football down here, and her apartment was up on the second floor. She was watching football up there. So we said, what the heck, let's get together and watch football together.
Yes.
And one thing led to another.
Yes.
And in December of 2019, on the 14th, we married. And it has been a wonderful experience.
Yes, it has. We did get married in December. Wayne moved into my apartment with me, and it's rather close quarters.
Yes.
But there was nothing available at the time because we wanted a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And it wasn't until the middle of, probably the end of January, that we found that this apartment was going to be vacated. So we took this apartment and have really loved it. So much space. I told Wayne, I said, we're going to have to put a little trail down so I can find my way back.
Yay.
We have a lovely apartment. It's a large 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And yeah, I used to kid folks when we were in the Ann's small apartment, I could stand in one place and see her everywhere. Now I have to hunt for her down the hall.
There we go. It's a big space. So please tell us, Wayne and Ann, what your life is like together as a couple here at Fairhaven, what you appreciate about each other, and what Fairhaven enables you to enjoy doing here.
Well, our life as a couple has been wonderful. I have been very blessed. Wayne is a very loving, understanding husband. We enjoy being together, just being together. Whether we're doing something or we may be both sitting in our recliners and reading. But it's been a wonderful experience, especially with COVID-19. If I'd still been in that little bitty apartment by myself, I probably would be moved to Tuscaloosa by now.
Yeah, we've talked many times about how lucky we were that we had each other at that time. Fairhaven's done an amazing job in responding to our needs with the COVID. They have not missed a meal. We have not participated in all of the activities that they've offered for independent living. It seemed like we were unpacking boxes for the first 4 months.
Yes, yes.
And we enjoy being together so much, sometimes we forget what's on the calendar.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I noticed from your beautiful fall decorations, there must be a lot of boxes involved somewhere.
Yes.
They're just
Yes,
lovely.
they are. Thank you.
Yeah, just great. Lovely apartment.
Thank you.
Fairhaven has opportunity for independent living individuals to move in, and we'd love to hear from you. We love questions. I'd be happy to forward any questions you may have to Wayne and Ann about what life is like here. I'd be happy to arrange a meeting. We're doing in-person tours now despite the pandemic with lots and lots and lots of personal protective equipment. And so we welcome your questions about any aspect of life at Fairhaven. Fairhaven has full spectrum of care, meaning from independent living all the way through hospice, nursing, memory care. We've got you for the whole process. In 2 sentences, what's your parting advice for our audience? If you could leave them with one thought in 2 sentences, what would those sentences be?
It is a new start, and you are around people and activities, and it's like a family.
That's hard to sum it up in 2 sentences.
You can have more sentences, Wayne.
One of the most important things I think that I can share with folks is don't wait too long.
That's true.
I don't know what my wife and I would have done before we moved here if it hadn't been because of her health. Mm. But think ahead and realize there's no time like the present to downsize a little bit and move into a place where you can be comfortable the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent. Thank you both so very much. Thank you.